Okay, so I've just about finished up my X79 build in the Mountain Mods chassis. I say just about because there's always little tweaks here and there of things that I probably will change. But I've got the top off, obviously, and on this particular side I did the half window with no fans. And then for the front panel I got three 120s in this section here, and then there's a 120 down on the bottom. Then we've got the fan controller here. All the fans, that's on 7 watts, and then on the bottom the red is 12 watts, or excuse me, 12 volts. So I've got all the fans off right now, except for the ones that are controlled by the system. We've got a Blu-ray drive here, and FireWire, the headphone and microphone, 4 USB 2.0 ports here that I've got running out to miscellaneous things. Then 2 3.0 USB, and I've got this one blank in case I ever wanted to add to it. Then coming in, we've got the 2 GTX 580 classified Ultras in SLI, and then this is the Game Blaster add-on card that came with the motherboard, the ASRock motherboard. And I've got a blue LED, which I'm not thrilled about the blue LEDs. That's one thing I'd like to change in the future. Pumping some cool air into the Sound Blaster card there, or Game Blaster rather, because it's close, its proximity to this card. This way it'll keep it from getting too hot, or at least the front side. And then there's a generous spacing here between the cards that is provided by the motherboard, which is kind of nice. This board is capable of Tri-SLI. The bottom card would actually go where the Game Blaster is, and so the bottom two cards would be close together. But I only run, 2 cards, which is nice because it leaves this great big space, which is essentially one PCI slot. And there is actually a PCI slot down there. It's just a standard PCI slot if you wanted to use it. But for these purposes, obviously I'd rather have the airflow between the two. And then we've got the H100, which is controlling the radiator there that comes with the H100. There's 2 fans pushing through, and this fan exhausting. So I've got the H100 controlling those 3 fans. And then I've got these RAM coolers. There's 16 gigabytes underneath there and 2 sticks. And, 8 gigs, 2 4s, and 8 gigs here, 2 4 sticks. So that'll make 16 total. And there's still 4 more RAM slots available, 2 on either side should I wish to go further with it. Right now I think 16 is plenty. Then we have this side here. You can see that's a blank there. That's just allowing pressure to equalize a little bit, and if it needs to, it can also pull some in if there's too much exhaust. So it is filtered as well. And then these 2 here are for the radiator 120 mil fans. And then down there on the bottom I've got a window showing the 1200 watt Corsair power supply, and then some of the basement. Behind this I've got 3 SSDs actually. I've got 1 for the operating system, 1 for games, and then I've got 1 specifically to record video on while I'm playing games. So this way I feel I had this extra one laying around, a 32 gigabyte, and you really can't do much with 32 gigabytes, so I made that my Fraps recording device. So at least this way the game can run off of one, the operating system off the other, and Fraps can have its own one that it records to. So I'm hoping that I can have no issues recording high definition game footage. And then behind this one I've got 2 terabyte drives for data and backup. So I've got 4 terabytes there. One is the data drive, and the other one is backing up the entire system every so often. So that kind of shows off what I've got in here. There's also, you can't see, but down back here there is also a second power supply, an 850 watt Corsair, and I've got them splitting duties. One, the 1200 is running one card and the motherboard, and the other power supply is running this card and all of the fans and everything else that's going on extra. So that gives a run of the system. I will post some 3D Mark scores a little later on. I'm going to do some break-in with it. I'm going to do some folding at home, some serious folding at home, and try to set a personal record for myself with it. I've got another video where I'm trying to do 1/3 points in 3 days. So I'm going to be stressing this out with some folding at home, and then I'll come back to it with some 3D Mark 11 and Vantage scores. And then I also still got to come back and clean up some of the wiring. You know, there's random 2 pins sticking out there. I really didn't like how any of this came together on this side. There wasn't enough room. The cables weren't long enough, and there wasn't enough room to afford them coming up. I don't like the way I have those sleeved. I'm really not impressed with some of this cabling, specifically this side. Not much I can do about the video cards since they require so much power. And then I tried to clean this up as best as possible, but it's really not to my liking either. And down there, it's a friggin' mess too, but hopefully it just can't be seen very well. So, and that will round it out. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, just post them below and I will get to them. Thanks.